Mega Mike the Movie Man, and today got a mega movie plan. Today I'm back with another mega video for you all. Today I'm going to be ranking all the Batmobiles in the live action Batman movies. Now we have 7 to get through here, and this is just going to be my personal list. So your list is probably going to look way different than mine. Go ahead and put your ranking down below. But without further ado, let's get started. Now coming in at 7th place, bottom of this list is going to be the Batmobile from Batman and Robin. This is just a toy. You know that they were trying to sell this because this is just one big giant toy commercial for Batman and Robin. And you can tell this vehicle would just bring too much attention. Why would the Cape Crusader ever really use this to be stealthy? No. It wouldn't work. It's just glowing way too much with the blue light, the grill up in the front, then you got the bat wing fins on the back. I mean, it just stands out too much. So criminals would see that right away and it would just attract so much attention to this vehicle. Not a very good stealthy vehicle at all. So that's why it had to be put at the bottom. Not just because it's in not the best movie, of course, but also just looking at the vehicle itself just would not work in any practical fashion for a superhero like Batman. Just too over the top. Next, at number 6, we're going to have to put the Batmobile from Batman Forever. Now, you could interchange this one with the Batman and Robin Batmobile. They're both very over the top, way too much blue glow to them. They have the bat fins on the back, and they just draw so much attention. So, very similar to the Batman and Robin Batmobile. This one just wouldn't be stealthy at all. So really what I said with Batman and Robin could be easily applied to this one as well. The only reason why this gets one step above it is because it did go up a building. And even though that was very unpractical and didn't make a whole lot of sense and probably would never actually really work, it was a kind of a cool scene when I was a kid watching it. And that's the only reason why it goes a little bit above Batman and Robin. Both deserve to be at the bottom for not being very stealthy Batmobiles. Next, at number 5, we're going to have to put the Batmobile from the Adam West era. Now, this is kind of a cool classic car from the 60s. So even though it isn't really a superhero looking vehicle, it is just kind of a cool classic car I wouldn't mind having. And it is memorable. You know this vehicle from the Adam West era. You could see this and be like, oh yeah, I remember that original Batmobile. It's cool with the red trim and the red bat symbols on the wheels and on the side of the car, so I thought that's a nice little touch. And it's not too much red, it doesn't overdo it, but it's a nice little trim everywhere. And it's just a cool looking car. It's a 2-seater, so you fit Robin right there and you're good to go. And so there's some nostalgia to this one, and I just like it being a cool classic car, and the 60s is a just awesome time for cars. And so yeah, this truly is just a car, but it's a pretty cool car, so I gotta put it at number 5.
The greatest gladiator match in the history of the world. God versus man.
Next, at number 4, we're going to have the Bat vehicle from Batman vs. Superman. Now, this kind of reminds me a little bit of the Tumbler, but kind of a little bit more widened out, and it definitely is a tanky type of vehicle, but it is something I could see Batman using. It's definitely a super kind of vehicle. Not everybody's gonna have this one, and this vehicle means business. There's a lot of great action sequences with this one in Batman vs. Superman when Batman's taking out all those criminals with this vehicle. I mean, he's just taking them out left and right, and so you know this vehicle is dangerous. When this vehicle shows up, you do not want to mess around with it, even though it is kind of similar to the Tumbler, which we'll talk about in a bit. I still think it's a vehicle you could see a super character having, and it definitely gets the job done, so I have to put it at number 4. At number 3, we're gonna have to put the Tumbler from the Dark Knight movies. And the Tumbler, at first, I wasn't like so excited about this vehicle, but it is a vehicle that a rich billionaire definitely would have at his disposal if he's fighting crime. It is the more tanky vehicle. And so even though it may not like look like a classic Batmobile, to me, when it's flying off rooftops, I mean, that's so awesome. And so it is definitely a dangerous type of vehicle and definitely would be used to fight against the criminal underworld. Makes sense to me. And what really even puts it above that Batman v Superman one, besides it coming before that, is that it can transform into the Batpod, the motorcycle, right? And that is really cool. When we see that happen in the Dark Knight, I'm like, ooh, you know what? I kind of like the Tumbler a little bit more now. Now it can kind of detach. I mean, that's kind of like actually like an action figure or something. But it's cool, you know, that's very practical. Hey, the rest of the vehicle is not working anymore. Well, hey, we got a couple wheels. Let's just take these and go with it. So the Batpod definitely upgrades the Tumbler in my eyes. So all around a pretty decent complete vehicle package for a rich character to use like the Batman. So definitely has to go at that number 3 spot. Now at number 2, our runner-up is gonna go to the Batmobile from the Batman 1989 movie. Now when I think of the Batmobile, just a classic nostalgic one to me, that one is the one that just pops in my mind. I don't pop in the Tumbler right away. I don't pop in the other Batmobile vehicles. When somebody says, hey, you remember the Batmobile? I always think, oh yeah, the Batman 1989 one. And so that's why it just goes so high up on this list. And it's actually a pretty cool design. It is a very nice, sleek design. And it doesn't stand out as much as the Batman Forever and Batman and Robin vehicles. It's not like all glowing and flashy with all the blue light. So it does, you know, seem something that a Batman would use just to kind of keep more of a lower profile, but it still has that cool kind of stretched out design for it to look like our classic traditional Batmobile. So definitely just because this is the one that always pops into my mind when I hear the word Batmobile, that's why I have to put it at that second place spot.
I got you! I got you!
Now, our first place winner is gonna be the Batmobile from the Batman. Now, this one is so cool, but it's so simple in design at first when you really think about it. It's like a black muscle car, but it has like a jet engine to it. So when it turns on and you just hear it, it just sounds so powerful. And to me, that was actually my favorite part of the Batman movie. That Batmobile scene was so fantastic, and then how it was able to chase after the Penguin, and Penguin was like, oh no, he thought he got Batman, and then just comes flying over, and then it gets the Penguin. That was epic. That was awesome. So that definitely does bring up the hype for this Batmobile vehicle, but I do think it's just the best of all worlds. It's sleek, it's a good design, it sounds terrifying, it's stealthy enough that I could see a Batman detective using. So it just works all around. It's not too over the top, not too flashy, and just a really cool looking car as well. That, hey, I wouldn't mind having this one either. So I have to give it that first place spot. Definitely a amazing Batmobile. So that will do it for our mega ranking of the Batmobiles. If you have not yet put your list in the comments, definitely put that ranking. Also, definitely respond to other people's rankings and let us know what you think of their choices. Also, if you're just discovering the channel for the first time, make sure you subscribe right now. I'm going to get you tons of superhero content, movie reviews, movie rankings, movie news, movie haul. You name it, we'll talk everything movies on this channel. I don't want you to miss out on any of that value. Also, turn on that notification bell so you don't miss when I post a video. Also, like the video. And this is Mega Mike the Movie Man reminding you to make every day a movie day.